to the stock market morning prep video for Thursday, August 7th. We did get a small little bounce. The bounce was very, very small, very weak actually. So this just tells you that sellers are in place and ready to sell this market on any bounce. Dow Jones really only popped up about 13, almost 14 points. Nasdaq up 2.25. S&P up 3 cents, and the Russell up $3.99. So pretty dismal day. We did get a little bit of sell-off in the morning, and we kind of rallied higher, and really just closed right in the middle from the day's range. Very quiet, very dull actually, but I just think that there's something bigger brewing now. I had a bunch of emails and asking, what do you think? Where do we go from here? And do we have some further upside? And yeah, I think we are still looking for a bigger bounce than 13 points in the Dow. I'm looking for a bigger retracement back up to that area in the ES, which I'll show you again. I want to show you some indicators that have really been doing well for us. But there's no reason to show it every day, but I want to just show it. Today is Thursday, so I want to get that out to you today. So let's just go right to it. We have the bullish percent SPX, very, very reliable indicator. We did mention here that look out, there's something bigger brewing, and sure enough, when we got away from that, this is still on a sell signal. This is on a very big sell signal. If the market rallies, which I suspect that it does, and remember, when they do rally, it's a short covering rally, so it's very fierce and very fast to the upside. Don't get suckered in, so to speak, that the selling is over. We really don't know, and even then, it might be over. But at this time, I don't see buyers at dips so frantic about buying this market here. Okay, there's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty out there. Now we have negative news coming out of Europe yesterday that Italy's back in recession. Negative economic numbers out of Germany yesterday. That put us down below about 5.5 handles, I think, when I was doing the video. So that's not great. Argentina defaulted on a loan payment. Geopolitical uncertainty coming still out of Ukraine and Russia. We have Iraq, and then you have Israel and Palestinians. So there's a lot of negative news out there, and the tide has shifted negative. So you got to be very careful, okay? So anyway, this is definitely on a sell signal here. And it's going to take a lot to take this back up. If at the very least this comes back to this area, meets the 8, and then rolls over again. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about with what will happen. Now, why do I think that maybe we might get a bounce? Well, let's take a look at the stocks above the 50-day moving average. It is at a point, it's deeply oversold, where it does usually happen that we get a bigger bounce like this, something like this, and this, and this. So when you see the pattern recognition, I'm looking for a bounce here. Remember, guys, it doesn't have to happen, but we are up a little bit in the pre-market. I do think we get a little bit of follow-through today and maybe even tomorrow, which I would love to see. And then Monday comes, we can get short the market. Another area is the VIX. We have expansion and volatility. The VIX, every time the VIX closes back in the Bollinger Band, is a buy signal for equities. And sure enough, you really can't see that, but if you see right in here, that black line, that's the outside Bollinger Band. It closed inside yesterday, so that's going to be a buy signal for the market. So I'd be looking to buy any weakness early on with a tight stop. Yes, it is a retracement rally, but if you're trading intraday, you want to look for some good quality stocks that have just been selling off with the market. And that's what I'm going to be looking for today. We tried it yesterday. We're looking for a good stop, but it was no real setup. I mean, by the time you even try to get a setup, it was almost to the end of the day. Let's take a look at the SPX ATR average range. As you can see, we have expansion and volatility, and we need to get really up at these areas here before I think we can get some sort of at least a short-term washout, something like this. As you can see, when we got to these elevated levels of the ATR at 19, right here we got a 20 at one point, and still made a higher low. So I think we get down to that 1875-ish right here where that supply is, and that's going to be really the target. Let's take a look at the McClellan Oscillator and the SPX, and you can see here every time we get down to that big washout area, we get a bounce, and that's where we are now. So I do think that we get some sort of bounce. You can see here we got a nice bounce, and we recovered very small here, but these bigger picture areas is what I'm looking for. And this is the McClellan Oscillator here. Now we're back in, so I'd be looking for stocks that have really gotten battered, and the one that really sticks out would be the builders and some of the energy names have just been getting decimated, as well as USL. The the oil ETF. Speaking of the builders, I had a request yesterday about the ITB and the lumber chart. This is actually looking better. You can see that lumber now has spiked up above price action in the home construction. So when this starts to break higher and prices behind it, the lumber prices start to rise, that's when you're going to get a demand in these builders. And I think that might be brewing for the next few days. We might get a good read on the home construction industry. The Toll Brothers, Lennar, the DHIs, the DH Horton, Beazer Homes, Pulte Homes. These are the ones that I'm looking for some sort of a play. Maybe for today, tomorrow. Nothing really big at the moment until we really see some recovery, a good recovery in that sector. But for an oversold bounce, yeah, absolutely. Let's run into the indexes. Here's bonds. I would be on if the market does rally for the next few days and you're not long bonds, I would be long bonds. I mentioned before about a short squeeze in place. Sure enough, 140.22 is going to be my target, and it looks like we are going to get up there at one point. So let's look at that for maybe a pullback. I would be adding to your portfolio if you don't want to buy puts. Right now it's not cheap, so I wouldn't be buying puts, but I would definitely be adding the ZB or TLT, the ETF, on any weakness, something like this. All right, take a look at the ES, and here's that hourly chart of the ES, and I'm looking for this area right here, this little cluster area, 30 to 40. I'd be ideal if we can get back up in here, right around that 50% retracement, but right here, looks like that 38%, right around the 200. That's what I'm looking for. And failure, right? We don't want to just short it because the price is up there. We want it to roll over, take out the previous day lows when we get to that point, okay? But that's going to be the target area for a reshort entry. And again, we held this downtrend line. So again, a logical spot for a bounce, at least back to the 50. That would be that 1940-ish area, which coincides nicely with that 38% retracement rally. Okay, so not too bad. But this is the area that we're looking for. All right, and then let's go into the transports target hit, as I mentioned before, right up in this area here. I said looking for a downside target of here. Next would be the downtrend line, the lower trend line of this uptrend channel, and then of course that 200-day moving average would be the bigger downside target during this market correction. So a nice pop up, I would be looking for a lower high from this previous high and look to re-enter short in the transports. And as you can see here, repetitive patterns, bear flag, bear flag, bear flag. This was bull flags, and now we're back underneath that 200-day. So it needs a little bit more work, but if we can get back up in here, I think you get a good re-enter short for a downside target of this local low down here at 107.36. Diamond, same thing. Just basically, it almost hit its target of the 200-day. So I do think the other indices that we follow will hit that target as well, or at least get close to it. And then lastly is the Qs. As you can see, we hit that 50, clinging by the 50, broke this downtrend line since April, actually, and then looking for a push lower right into this little supply area, and then of course that 200 again. All right, use caution, guys. Don't get overly excited about a big bounce, but I would look to get weak. I would look to buy on weakness. For today, and that will be the situation until something else arises. Remember, things do change intraday, so make sure you change and adapt to your trading plan if needed. Have a great day. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care.